Okay, music. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for joining us today on LinkedIn Visibility for Professionals and Entrepreneurs. I know we already have some people on the call. Please put in the chat box to confirm that you can hear me loud and clear. All right. My name is Chuka, and I'll be your host for the Chuka Talks series that we're having today with Taiwo Arumolara. And this is the first series we're having in this conversations. And what a good way to start the conversation with looking at LinkedIn. I know that people have New Year goals, New Year resolutions to show up strong and to show up great on social media. I'm not seeing any comments yet, just to confirm that you can hear me. All right, I'm going to be turning on my video very shortly, just to make sure that you can see my face and you can hear me. Can anyone just put in the chat that you can hear me? And I would also like to know where you're connecting from. Oh, thank you very much, Bernard Daniel. I see you. Thank you for joining us this evening. Akim Bami Ebenezer. So excited to have you on this conversation. All right. Can anyone see me? Can you see my face? Just trying to ensure that we're live and clear on the connection. Thank you very much, Nelson Ebuno. Thank you for joining us on this series. Today, we're going to be looking at LinkedIn visibility for professionals, for entrepreneurs. You could be a job seeker, you could be a CEO, you could be anybody in your you could be holding any position in your company, in your industry. And today we're just going to be discussing how you can leverage LinkedIn to position yourself for great opportunities, especially in this new year. Right, and we have someone who's going to do justice to the conversation, who has shown up repeatedly on LinkedIn a couple of times. Thank you very much, Kendi. I can see you. Welcome. Thank you for joining us this evening. As a way to kickstart, I like you to put where you're joining from. You can just say Abuja, London, Lagos, UK, whatever it is that you're joining us from this beautiful evening. It might be morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you're connecting from. Just put them in the chat so that we know where you're connecting with us from. All right. Because of time, we're going to be moving on to the conversation very quickly and very briefly. Rabbi, I need to see where you're connecting from, guys. Please put it in the chat so we know where you're connecting from. Okay. Get your friends, share the link, get your friends to be part of this conversation. Trust me, so much value is going to be shared this evening. Okay. All right. So much value is going to be shared this evening. So I'm still waiting to see where we're connecting from. I'm still waiting to see where we're connecting from. In a couple of minutes, I'm going to be bringing on our speaker. All right. But for some of us who are already on the call, good evening, Festus. Thank you for joining us. Festus is connecting live all the way from Lagos State, Nigeria. Amazing. So excited to have you on the call, Festus. Thank you so much. I believe Kendi is connecting from Abuja, right? Thank you very much, Kendi. Nelson joining all the way from the Republic of Ireland. So excited to have you, Nelson. Thank you so much for doing this. Frank, thank you for joining us from Abuja. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm really excited and I'm grateful. Bernard Daniel, Abuja, that's the Federal Capital Territory. It seems Abuja is already taking the lead. Isaias Okukwe connecting all the way from Dublin. Thank you very much, Isaias, for joining us this evening. Thank you. So Abuja, Nigeria is still taking the lead. I think we'll have more people from that location. I want to appreciate everyone joining us from diaspora, joining us from various cities and countries in the world. Chuka, I'm connecting live from Abuja. All right, thank you so much, guys, and welcome to this series. Okay, so we're looking at something very important today. LinkedIn, and it's very interesting that we're starting this conversation right in the heart of LinkedIn, right? We need to understand how to position, how to leverage, and some of us are already doing amazing stuff with LinkedIn. We're already doing amazing stuff in our industry. We're already doing amazing work in our profession. Hi, Rachel. Good evening. Thank you for joining us all the way from the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Richard does amazing work in the mental health space across Nigeria and beyond. Victoria Olumesi, thank you for joining us this evening, all the way from Abuja. Okay, so we're going to be delving right into the conversation. I believe you can hear me loud and clear. I'm going to bring in up our speaker very shortly. She has, like I said by the introduction, she has showed up on LinkedIn and positioned for opportunities repeatedly. We're going to be getting to that conversation, so let me not spill so much. All right. So Taiwo Aromolaram, as she's called, is a criminal prosecution specialist. She's a lawyer. She's a storyteller. She is a visibility strategist. Trust me, we had to go for the best, for to talk about this conversation. So she's a visibility strategist at the intersection. She sits at the intersection of law, authority, and a professional presence. So let me just take that again. Taiwo is a criminal prosecution specialist. She's a storyteller. She's a visibility strategist whose work sits at the intersection of law, authority, and professional presence. She is the co-founder of the 50 Circle Coaching Company. We're going to be telling you about that coaching company very soon, where she helps professionals build visibility that reflects depth, credibility, and influence. Okay, so she's currently recognized as LinkedIn number one top voice for law and justice. Okay, according to Favicon, that's in Nigeria. Through her writing and thought leadership, Taiwo demystifies litigation and helps lawyers show up strong with greater confidence, clarity, and authority, both in the courtroom, online, and offline. So she has trained over 100 professionals to build compelling and credible presence here on LinkedIn. So Taiwo is going to be talking to us today on how to position as a professional, as an entrepreneur on LinkedIn for opportunities. Hi, I think we have some other persons joining us already. Bridget, thank you for joining us. Fumilola, thank you for joining us all the way from Lagos. Bridget, all the way from Zimbabwe. That's so amazing. Love it. Thank you for joining us all the way from Abuja. So excited to have you this evening. Hi, Taiwo. Can you hear me? Good evening.
You. I don't know if my video is okay. I can see myself, so
Oh yeah. So Taiwo, you can take it over from here. So we'll just run. You
thank
give us all you have for us, and then we'll get into the Q&A very quickly,
you.
so
Sure.
that we can really get into the meat of the conversation. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, Yuka. And I really want to say thank you to everybody for joining. Like I always say in my classes, I don't teach theory. I like to be practical because this is something that has been tried, tested, and definitely works, and something that can also be replicated as well. So we're not just teaching theory, that hasn't been put to the test. So I already know that we have professionals, we have entrepreneurs on the chat this evening, and I just want to, without further ado, assure you that you're in the right place. So this is one of the things I always tell my students every time I teach in my visibility master classes. I can see Favor on the call. Favor was on one of my master classes. So I just want to say that, the journey of visibility, or before we even talk about visibility, I just really want to say that in 2026, in the 25th century for that matter, if you are not being visible, then you are playing, right? If you're not being visible, then you're shortchanging yourself because there's so many things you're leaving on the table, right? You're leaving engagements. Yeah, my sister just reminded me that I haven't thanked Chuka yet for inviting me. Chuka, I really want to thank you for inviting me. Thank you for the opportunity. Yeah, so when we talk about visibility, right? If in 2025, if you are joking with your visibility, then you're leaving engagement, you're leaving conversion. Um, you know, I once made a post, in the past where I said that people that I haven't, that don't live in the same city with me, people that have never met me in the same physical space, they already know my name, they already know what it is that I do because I'm visible online, right? So you can be gifted, you can be talented, you can have all the expertise, all the skills, but if people don't know, then they don't care. Right. If people don't know, then they can't give you the opportunity, they can't give you the chance. And LinkedIn is, a great visibility platform. Why? Because LinkedIn itself was wired for visibility, right? I often say this in my class that LinkedIn is not for virality, it's not built for virality. On other platforms like TikTok and Instagram, Facebook, you have people's posts going viral. You see somebody with 256,000 likes on a post, but that's not common on LinkedIn. Why? Because for LinkedIn, the focus is on thought leadership, is on expertise, is on professionalism, right? So LinkedIn is a platform that's wired for quality conversations and for people to assert their expertise, to assert, the thought leadership. So just before I got on the call, one of my friends was chatting with me, and then she shared a post with me. It's a meme where I think there was a post on Twitter when somebody said that I'm going to my dog barked yesterday, and then they put it in LinkedIn speak, and it was really lengthy, using all the grammar and all of those things. But I really want to say that LinkedIn does not have to be that way, especially when you're in a visibility trajectory. Why? Because with your visibility trajectory on LinkedIn, you want to show some humanity. You want people to be able to identify with the person behind the brand, because that's what happens with most posts on LinkedIn. Most people think they have to sound perfect, they have to sound professional at the expense of their humanity. So it's not like that. And I don't want to go into what I usually teach in my classes, because I know that you still have the opportunity to ask me questions. But today, I really just want to talk about what should form the backdrop of your visibility journey on LinkedIn as an entrepreneur, as a professional. And I know that we're talking about how to position and how to show up consistently. Let me say that I started to show up consistently on LinkedIn by happenstance, right? Because I had this, stint with LinkedIn in 2021. That was the year I was also called to the bar. And then, I just decided, because I was tired of being quiet. I was really enjoying what it was that I was doing with my job. I was just a youth core member. I happened to be in a federal government agency. I was really enjoying criminal prosecution. I was living the life. So it's like, oh, let me express this in writing since this is something I really enjoy. And the feedback was massive. It was totally unexpected. So many people from all over the world. I remember making a post about my first appearance against the senior advocate of Nigeria, and I got 1,000 plus. I can't remember if it was no, no, no. I think that was about 2,000 plus reactions. Now, bear in mind, this isn't even 2025. This was far back in 2021, and the engagement was just on another level. I wasn't even being consistent. I was just showing up on days when I felt like it, days when I felt like I had something important to say. And I think that this is the sort of mistakes that most people make. They wait to make a post that goes viral, a post that gets general acceptance, as opposed to just showing up consistently. Sometimes you don't have a big win to share. Sometimes you just want to share a thought, or sometimes you just want to share a reflection, whatever it is. You want to solve people's problems. You want to show up and make sure that when people read your post, they can see value, they can deduce value, no matter how you do it. Matter of fact, I think in Nigeria right now, the top creators in LinkedIn, that is, those creators that get the highest levels of engagement on LinkedIn, are not necessarily using professional speak. They are not using Chat GPT to edit their post to make sure it comes off as perfect. They're just being human. They're just being themselves. I find out that most Gen Zs, Gen Z speak actually, works better these days on LinkedIn. You find them having massive engagement, building a community that is worth it. But I know that we have professionals on the call, and I know that we have entrepreneurs, people that they're like, oh, I'm not about the Gen Z speak. I just want to be able to convert. I want people to recognize me for what it is that I do, for my expertise, for the value that I bring, and I want to say that in the start of your visibility journey on LinkedIn, clarity, conviction should be really important to you. That should form the basis, right? I see so many people showing up Today they're talking about fashion. Tomorrow they're talking about lifestyle. The next day they're talking about what is happening in the north. They're talking about the latest news. You have to be consistent, all right? Consistency is not just with showing up. Okay, I showed up yesterday. I'm going to show up today. It's also consistency with your messaging, right? That is how you stay top of the mind. That's how people say criminal litigation in Nigeria. Who comes to mind? Taiwo Arimolola. Why? Because I will be consistent. I'm intentional about my messaging. I'm intentional about what I'm putting out there. I don't want people to confuse me with a marital causes lawyer. No, I may not be able to help you when it comes to matrimonial causes, right? But I can help you. I'm the go-to when it comes to criminal litigation. I can give you, I can, because I make posts that showcase that expertise. So I want you to land on my page and be able to tell, even before viewing my profile, the moment you come in contact with my post, you should be able to tell from the get-go that this is a criminal prosecution specialist. So this is what you should be thinking. If you're a medical doctor, for instance, you want to start with that clarity. I often teach in my class. I often say that clarity, not just with the message that you want to share, you also have to be clear on who your target audience is. When you start showing up on LinkedIn, when you start showing up on any platform, social media platform for that matter, there's always the option to choose what your niche is. They ask you, are you going to be about, are you a celebrity? Are you a creator? Are you a writer? Are you a politician? They ask all of those things so that they can customize your feed accordingly, so that they can make certain facilities, certain tools available to you, because the tools available to a creator are different from those available to a writer, for instance. I know that about Instagram. So the same thing with LinkedIn. You have to be consistent, be clear on who your target audience is going to be, whose problems do you want to solve. And when you're clear on whose problems do you want to solve, you can't solve all the problems in the world, right? I mean, you do yourself a favor by identifying specific problems, right? But then you have to zero in on what are the most common problems, what are the most problematic problems, what are the problems that can convert for me, what can I become famous for? Because if you attempt to solve all the problems, then chances are there are already people in those niches solving similar problems. So you have to zoom in. I always teach this in my classes. In the beginning, right, be clear about who you want to speak to. For instance, I've talked about being a criminal prosecution attorney and talked about how that I want people to land on my page immediately. You're able to tell that. But that being said, I don't talk about everything criminal prosecution. My focus is on young lawyers and new wigs who are just transitioning, all right, from legal education into litigation, particularly criminal litigation, although I do not discriminate. But I want them to be able to, develop that confidence. And that is how my content is channeled. So, start from a place of clarity, about your messaging, about the audience whose needs you want to solve and the particular problems you want to solve for them. So you can't be about everything in the beginning. Later, you can feel free to, diversify when you've succeeded in building a following. But I'll tell you, I started showing up. I told you guys that I showed up in LinkedIn. I started my LinkedIn visibility journey specifically in 2021. But I'll tell you that after 2021, when I was done with my youth service, I had a stint, right? I had a training that took me off of LinkedIn for about 6 months. And by the time I go back from the training, it was like, because it was a military training, right? So by the time I came back, I was a different person. I had to demilitarize. So what that meant for me was because I was also easing into my new job, big girl, um, new girl in a big city at a new job. So I just sort of like let LinkedIn chill for a while. I'll be back. I'll be back. Before I knew it, that break LinkedIn into 2 years, and I just found myself, what am I going to see again? Where is my audience? Where do I start from? Bear in mind, at this point, I think I'd already made 3,000 LinkedIn connections. So by the time I came back, I'm telling you, I came back sometime in July, no, in August. But I didn't double down on my visibility or on posting until sometime in October. So between October and December, I was able to get 10,000 followers. So you don't get 10,000 following by being inconsistent. You can't be inconsistent with your messaging because the people don't know what to go to you for. I always say this to my students. You don't arrive at 10,000 by being inconsistent. Number one, you have to be consistent with your timing. You have to be consistent with your strategy, right? You have to be consistent with your messaging, and with your target audience. You have to have that understanding. Who am I serving? What do I want them to perceive concerning me? And I know there's so many people that are saying, okay, yeah, I'll be consistent. So how does that play out for me? How does that convert? Because I know entrepreneurs want to make sales. You want people to buy from you. You want people to sign up for your courses. And if you are, a professional, perhaps you want to get opportunities to, international opportunities. You're looking to be invited as a guest speaker, or maybe to land a new job. It could be anything. Maybe some people are looking to be headhunted, for a remote opportunity. I'm telling you, your consistency with your messaging goes a long way. All of these things add up. Now, let me talk about, now I haven't talked about consistency, right? I can't really go in depth because I know Chuka has only given me about 25 minutes to address this topic. That's why you should sign up for my masterclass that is coming up. Anyway, now that I've talked about consistency and I've talked a bit on clarity, I really want to talk to you about positioning. That is really important. You see, there's a way to position on social media, especially on a platform like LinkedIn. It's a professional platform. I always say this jokingly that you're already wearing a suit, on your LinkedIn profile. Your content should not wear a suit as well. People should be able to see the humanness. People should be able to see your humanity. They should be able to see, as I'm talking to you, right? You can hear me as I'm breathing, right? Maybe subtly. You might not be able to hear it so audibly. You can hear me as I'm speaking. You have an inkling as to the sort of the personality that I have, right? Because you are seeing me on video, right? You can see my little perks, the few minutes that we're spending on this conversation. But with your post on LinkedIn, people don't get the access. They don't get to see the person, except you show them. And that showing takes intentionality. I always teach this in my class. I break that down, how you can show your intentionality. But having said this, let me just give you some practical ways, to convert, to position to convert. So for a platform like LinkedIn, already emphasized, overemphasized, in fact, that it's a professional platform. So one thing you need to know is, as much as I'm telling you to be human, be professional. LinkedIn is not a place to make some sort of jokes or to bring politically charged matters or to be I always say be contrarian, especially when you're starting your post. I mean, you don't want to be a yes person, a yes man. You just want everybody to you want to be playing it safe for everybody to know, oh, you don't like trouble. With LinkedIn, if you want to spark engagement, it pays to be contrarian, just to get that what do you call it now? To get that attention, right? To get attention, to spark attention, first off. But at the same time, you want to be careful about the things you're being contrarian about, right? Because LinkedIn, it's not only job seekers that are on LinkedIn. There are recruiters, there are, I, sorry, 1 minute. What? I hope everyone can hear me because I can't tell if you guys can hear me. Please let me know if you can hear me, if you can still see me. Chuka, are you there?
Yeah, Tyrell, can you hear me? I can hear you clearly. You can go
Mm,
on. It's the net the
Chuka, can you
streaming is
hear
clear.
me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you, Tyrell.
Hi,
I can
Chuka.
hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you.
Hello.
Hi. I can hear you, Taiwo. I can hear you. Oh my God. Okay. Let me see.
Hi, Chuka. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Taiwo. I can hear you. I
For
can hear
some
you.
reason, I can't hear you.
Can you see me? Oh yeah.
So, are you
David just.
nodding to let me know that you can hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, all right,
Yes.
perfect. So, as I was saying,
Yeah, I can hear you.
yes. So you want to be contrarian. I don't want to go into the algorithm of a repos. That's one of the things I teach in my class. But yeah, so I want to say that you want to be contrarian, but you also want to position properly, knowing that recruiters, employers are looking you up. Your next big opportunity, the person that's going to give it to you is also on LinkedIn, right? So you want to make sure that you position appropriately. There are different ways that you can write your post to spark engagement, but you want to show that you're also professional in being human. I teach all of these things in my classes. Yeah, let me also say that you also want to build trust because that's one thing with positioning on LinkedIn, you want to make posts that build trust, and one of the ways you do that is by being consistent with your messaging. I already talked about that. You want to make sure that you focus on creating the kind of content that speaks to your target audience, whether it be buyers, whether it be employers, recruiters. You want to make sure that you are speaking to posts, that position you. So, if for instance the ICC is recruiting a legal specialist, right? What are the things they're looking out for, right, in a typical candidate, in a perfect candidate for that position? So I start looking. Okay, they want a professional that I know their core values. They want integrity. They want professionalism. So I'm positioning myself accordingly. And then you also don't want to be busy creating entertainment posts. You want to make sure that you're creating trust building posts. I keep saying this. So trust building posts, right? And this is for entrepreneurs, are posts that show that you genuinely care about your audience. They're not just posts that you keep badgering us with. Buy my new course, buy my accelerator course, this. Show us how these things can solve our problems. Okay, an example I always give in my classes, that I think will stick is, for instance, right? If I happen to be selling jewelry, maybe I'm selling Dubai gold, right? Imagine I'm selling Dubai gold, and then I take my time. I start out my post by teaching you, how to care for your gold. You see your jewelry, you can't expose it to the sun. Be careful about this. You can't wash it all of the time because of wear and tear. Yes, it's genuine gold, but the way you treat it actually matters. If I start in that way, and then I show you videos of myself. I'm in Dubai. I'm purchasing gold. Look at where they're making it. This, that, and all of that, right? And then I teach you maintenance. Now that you've bought your gold, how to weigh the gold, this, that, how you can trade it off, how to sell all of those things before now introducing my go to you. First, you've already gotten from the videos that I've made that this person really knows their stuff. They genuinely care about me. I mean, if something happens to the gold that I eventually buy from them, I can go back to them. They've shown a level of empathy. So people don't necessarily buy from professional people. They buy from people that can relate with them, people that they feel like, oh, they know what it is like to be me right now at this point, and then they take it from there. And then I'll also say that allow people to have a free taste of your monetizable skills before they ever pay you. For instance, now I have a paid I'm doing paid classes. But before I started doing paid classes, I started off by doing free classes. I just wanted to test run. Let me see if I'm actually offering, if my target audience will actually consider this as value. And my 50 circle, that was my first major cohort. They confirmed to me that it was actually value, because if you check my page in my highlights, you find testimonials from students from my past master classes that let me know that I'm actually doing something and making an impact. So these are the things that you consider. I think this is mostly for entrepreneurs. For professionals now and entrepreneurs as well, I would say that in positioning on LinkedIn and making your post, you also want to show expertise. And what I mean by showing expertise is you want to, because many times people ask me the questions, Taiwo, I really want to be visible. I want to start showing up on LinkedIn, but the problem is I don't know what to post. Where do I start from? You have to start from what you currently have. Whether you're a student, whether you don't have a job, there's always something to share. You always have something to share at every point in time. So I say that, for instance, at the time I started showing up on LinkedIn, I was just a newbie girl. I had just been called to bar months, into, it was just maybe a few months into my being a newbie. And then I would make posts about my first court appearance, my first plea bargain agreement, my first appearance. Your first appearance, your first experience with something is a learning point for another person. There will always be a first time for somebody to try out something, and your experience sharing your post sharing your first experience will be valuable to such a person. It makes them know that they're not alone. So even if you feel like, oh, I've not yet done anything yet, even in your transition phase, that is a genuine story. That is a story worth telling. If I show up today and I say that, God forbid, I'm out of job, I'm looking to transition, this is what I did. I received another rejection today. This is the third rejection in 100. But I graduate, I'm a chemical engineering graduate. I've done this when I was in that kind of post sparks a lot of engagement because many people can relate. So whatever you wherever at whatever point you are, whether you're a senior level, mid level, entry level, whether you've not started anything at all, your story is worth telling. And nobody is going to do a great job telling your story for you. Nobody can tell your story like you do. I think for me, the most important backdrop, because somebody still messaged me yesterday and told me that this is somebody I really look up to, and told me that they're just not sure. They want to be visible, but they're just not sure about, I'm not sure I want to put myself out there. And it made me, reflect and look back. I'm like, you have to do it for yourself. You have to do it because I believe that so many people on this call, are children of God, believers, because it is God's intention. Marianne Williamson said that, we are all meant to shine as children do. We are light and we're meant to shine. There's nothing enlightened about keeping quiet so that others will not feel insecure around you. There's nothing enlightened about it at all. You need to ask yourself the question, and you need to want visibility for yourself. Because if you've been invisible, if you've been obscure, you need to ask yourself, how has that served me? What opportunities have I missed out on as a virtue of being obscure? What am I gaining from keeping quiet? You need to speak out, you need to voice out because there are people that need the things that you have to share. You have to voice out because if you don't voice out, you're probably going to remain where you are. Selling something and then not being visible, having expertise, having skills and not being visible is like winking in the dark and hoping that somebody notices you. Nobody's going to notice you. I said it in the beginning. You can be skilled, you can be talented, but nobody cares because nobody knows. Nobody knows because you are busy keeping quiet. You need to get tired in 2026 of being quiet. You need to get tired of being passed up on for opportunities. You need to show up for yourself, even if nobody claps. And that's one of the things that people care about the most. People say, what if I show up on LinkedIn? What if nobody likes my post? Who told you that nobody can see you because nobody likes your post? Go to your impressions. LinkedIn shows you impressions for a reason. That is the number of people that have viewed your post when you made it. That is assuming that you've made valuable content. There is no valuable content. A content that is genuinely valuable would definitely get, visibility. It will definitely get engagement. So the problem is probably that you have value, but you don't know how to structure it in a way that is acceptable to others. And that's one of the things I teach in my master classes. I'm not going to lie to you. This is not supposed to help me get more buyers, at my master class or more students. I'm telling you the truth because this is me genuinely caring about you. Because this is my own message. This was my own revelation. Feel free to duplicate it for yourself. You need a strategy, granted, but I'm letting you know. So many people start out amateurish, they don't even know how to, they've not figured it out. They're just doing their best, doing what it is that they think is all right. And they're getting engagement in the process. So I'm telling you, in my master classes, I teach things like this: how to structure your post, how to write a winning post, all these things, posts that connect with people, posts that make people engage with you. But assuming you don't even attend my master class, I'm telling you now, right? Forget if people are not clapping yet. They will come back and clap, right? Forget if you're only getting 5 likes on your post. I told you, go to the impressions on your LinkedIn post, check how many people have viewed. The questions you should be asking yourself is, after I made this post, did I get DMs? Did somebody reach out to me to let me know? Thank you. Some people can't comment on your post, but they'll send you a DM. I have, several of those DMs in my, on my LinkedIn inbox. Thank you so much, Taiwo. That was so helpful. Please keep doing what you do. I just wanted to reach out. I really enjoyed this post you made. You're really inspiring. This, that. Thank you for the last video. When is your next video coming up? When is your next masterclass? All these things, right? Some of those comments don't, some of those messages don't show up in my comment, in my inbox, on my comment section, but I'm receiving them. It's enough feedback. So on a day that I make a post and I only get 2 likes, I won't feel bad. It might hurt my ego just a bit because I have 10.6 K following currently, but that might hurt my ego just a bit. But I don't forget the people, the lawyers that meet me in the courtroom, and then they say, "Taiwo, thank you so much." I won't forget. Chuka will not be inviting me. Chuka did not invite me just because we're friends. We know each other. No, he invited me because he has spotted value, right? So that's the same way people are noticing you. People notice. We always make the mistake of thinking that nobody notices us because nobody is commenting. You need to get over yourself in 2026. The fact that people are not commenting on your post, that the whole world is not liking your post, doesn't mean you're not visible. Check who sent you a connection request in the past few days, in the past few weeks. Who is checking your page? Are recruiters landing on your page? Did you get a message? Did you get a message from somebody you respect in your field? These are the questions you should be asking yourself, because that is what the platform is wired for, right? Chuka, I don't know if I've exceeded my time. Please let me know, because I'm waxing really impassioned, and I can just keep going and going and going. I think it's a great time to take questions. Let me just know what are people's pain point? What questions do you really want me to answer?
Thank you so much, Taiwo. Can you hear me? Hello. Hi, Taiwo. Can you still hear me? Can you hear me? So thank you very much, Taiwo. That was really heartfelt. I see that you're speaking from the depths of your heart, and you really are pouring out so much value to our audience. I think we need to get you back for part two, all right? But Taiwo has a paid course. But before I come to that, she has spoken really about clarity. This is 2026, and even beyond, she has spoken about being clear with your message. She has spoken about being visible, not just going viral, but being visible. All right. She has spoken about clarity. She has spoken about strategy. She has spoken about knowing who your target
Yes,
audience.
Chuka, I can
Um,
hear you.
okay, great. Yeah, she's spoken about knowing who your target
Yeah.
audience. Very much, Taiwo. That was really heartfelt. Just speaking okay from the depths of your heart, and really pouring out so. Okay. Just to really backtrack as to what she said, right? She spoke about positioning, she spoke about relatability for your content. She spoke about just being human with all of the posts that you share on LinkedIn. And she spoke about storytelling. And you could see that she has so much value to give. And if we just give her more time, she has a lot more to share. And that's not just sugarcoating it, right? I've seen Taiwo do amazing things on LinkedIn. In fact, she posted on LinkedIn for over 2 months consistently for every day. I think that was 62 days, right? A challenge that she did on LinkedIn recently last year. And I know you're going to talk about that very soon. I know you keep speaking about your paid a masterclass that is coming up, right? Before we get into questions, I would like you to just quickly talk about it, right? Talk about what people need to know to sign up and all of the details. I'm sure we'll put them in the comment section as well, because I have the feeling that people really want to learn more, want to position better for 2026 in terms of LinkedIn. One of the interesting thing about LinkedIn is that LinkedIn has key decision makers, CEOs, CFOs, founders, investors, right? They are all here on LinkedIn. And if you want to choose a particular social media platform that you should leverage this year, LinkedIn is one of those places you should consider. So, Taiwo, can you talk to us about the program that's coming up before we take questions? I've not seen any questions yet, right? So that we can really get into what you have, just very briefly. Hi, Taiwo, can you hear me? I think there's a network glitch. Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Esas Okupe. I'm so sorry if I'm murdering the name, right? Let me quickly get Tayo back on the call. Yeah, Tayo, so can you talk about the
Yeah,
master
Chuka
class?
can. Um, if you can hear me, okay. So I have a masterclass coming up, LinkedIn Visible. Yes, I can. I have a visibility accelerator coming up. Yes, so it's for executives actually. But that being said, that's just surface level for. You can hear me. Okay. So I have the master class coming up. Yes, I can. I have a visibility accelerator coming up. So it's
Yeah, Taiwo, you can go on. You can go on. I think the network is buffering a bit. You can go on.
service level. Yeah, I got distracted for a bit back there. So I was just saying that other professionals can join as well, even though it's tiled as being for professionals. Other executives can join. I think there's a bit of lag from my end, so it's I've spoken, but it's coming in minutes later. I think the network is fluctuating just a bit there.
All right, no problem. Can you hear me now? Can our audience still hear me? Taiwo, can you hear me now? Oh my God. Can you hear me now? Okay, let me just quickly do a background music. Ooh, people. Okay. Hello, Taiwo. Can you hear me? Just to confirm that I'm audible. Um, okay. Just okay. So thank you so much, Taiwo, for sharing so much valuable content around positioning for LinkedIn. Right. I'll just quickly ask you a few questions. I know there are questions from our audience and the comment section, but before we get to that, right? Can you talk about your I know you said you completed a 62 days challenge on LinkedIn, right? Where you posted every day consistently for over 2 months, right? How did you come about like deciding to do that? Was that part of your strategy or you, of course, I know some thought went into that action, but can you just, let us in on as to, what led to that thinking and how you just came about that challenge for posting consistently for over 2 months. 2 months. I don't know if you got my question, just so our audience can really get to see how you're able to grow your page. Please put your questions in the comment section so that we can take them as well, right? As we begin to wind down very soon.
That started off, I said before the 61-day challenge, writing challenge that I started, I just had this moment where, I had this sort of like personal retreat where I was just, it's deeply spiritual for me because it was just a season of my life where God told me to, accelerate my visibility. It was just this prompting inside of my heart. You have so much to share. Why are you keeping mute? Why are you hiding? Nobody's going to discover you in your obscurity. I've I've commanded you to shine. I've commanded you to shine. So why are you keeping quiet? And then he just gave me that strategy, and it was really helpful. It was matter of fact the way I was able to build that mammoth following. In the process, I was able to start my master classes, and it's just put me on the path of purpose. It didn't just end as a 61-day challenge. It metamorphosed into something else. Yeah. So I would say that was it. It was personal conviction for me. an instruction actually to do that.
Great. Thank you so much, Tayo, for letting us into that. And I like the fact that you said it was really deeply spiritual for you. You got
Yeah.
those promptings and revelations from God, to accelerate your visibility. And He actually gave you a strategy on how to do that, right? Could you speak about the coaching company, the 50 Circle Coaching Company? Right. I know you recently co-founded that, and you're really out to train professionals, to gain clarity on LinkedIn, and also in the legal profession as well, even beyond that. So could you speak about the 50 Circle Coaching Company? I know we had the network buffer a bit when you were talking about your paid masterclass as well. So you can just quickly share those in 1 or 2 minutes. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Chuka. So the 50 Second Coaching Company was definitely born out of my passion, to help other people accelerate their visibility the same way I've been able to do mine. You know, um, I don't think it's normal, for people to just approach you because sometimes I tell myself, I say, this is what fame feels like, being recognized not just on the platform but even off the platform. And that's one thing that has my heart because I believe that God's plan, God's purpose for everyone, is to shine as light. God did not create one single person and create them for obscurity. I mean, even if you are walking backstage, if you're the sort of person that avoids the spotlight, you should still be known for being a backstage person. You shouldn't be obscure, and don't get comfortable being obscure. So that's why I founded the 50 Circle Coaching Company. It's supposed to cater to professionals, entrepreneurs, students, and even lawyers. I have a section of that that's focused on litigation coaching for young lawyers. But on the whole is for visibilities, because even for courtroom visibility, courtroom confidence is about you being visible. So, I mean, if this is something that has your heart as well, something that matters to you, if you want to be visible in 2026, and if you're a young lawyer, that wants to build your courtroom confidence in 2026, definitely follow the 50 Circle Coaching Company. That's exactly how you spell it, 50 Circle Coaching Company. And then follow us so that you keep up to date with, our programs. Just last year in December, we had a Q&A session titled Law, LinkedIn, and Litigation. That was specifically tailored towards lawyers. But we have a lot of events. The paid masterclass that I have coming up, the one that's for executives, if you go to the 50 Circle Coaching Company, you find it on our page. You find the link to register. It's supposed to start on Monday and it's for 5 days. And there are just 20 slots open. By the way, so I mean, sign up. I totally want. I really want for you guys to sign up. Yeah. So Chuka, that's it.
All right, thank you very much. Of course, I just dropped the link in the comment section to
Thank you.
the visibility coaching session that Taiwo is hosting. I think it's starting next week, right? So please, guys, let's take advantage
Yeah.
of that and
Chuka,
plug
one thing
in.
I should also mention. Sorry to cut you short, but one thing I should
No
also
problem.
mention is even for those that don't intend to sign up for this next masterclass, there's another one coming up. By the tail end of December. That one is not for executives. It's more towards like professional, just like 50 Circle. My 50 Circle student, I saw a few of them. I can see Joy Elendu. I don't know that I can see anyone else, but I can see Joy. Hi Joy, I love you, Joy. I saw Joy's comment. I can see so many people. Chika, please let me just love on my people, my 50 Circle people. I can't see the comments right now, but I love you. I can see Mike Uzwa. I saw your comment earlier. I just really want to know, let you know that I celebrate you. Thank you so much for supporting me. Yeah, so I have other events as well. I have another event coming up after this one. It has not yet been publicized, but I'm just letting you know. Apart from this event that's coming up, we also the 50 Second Coaching Company. We also share tips, LinkedIn visibility acts. So even if you're not signing up to our next class, there'll be other ones, and you would totally be able to get tips, free acts. But yeah, Chika, that's it.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Taiwo. I
Yeah.
really, really want to thank you for coming up to this series that we're having to talk about LinkedIn, to talk about how to position. I'm sure this will be recorded already on the timeline, so people who come in later can as well connect, learn, and even reach out for more programs and coaching sessions that you're going to be having. One last question, Taiwo. Could you speak about the LinkedIn algorithm, right? I know you've done a lot of posts, you've been able to understand how it works, so how can professionals take advantage of it? How does it work, and what are the things you need to pay attention to when it comes to the algorithm, right? Just briefly in few minutes so that we can begin to wind down in the hour here. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Chuka. So I always teach more extensively on this in my classes. Matter of fact, I have a session, two sessions on a 7-day class that is tailored towards the LinkedIn or understanding the LinkedIn algorithm. So one thing I should point out, first off is the LinkedIn algorithm is constantly changing. It's not a human being that you can totally figure out because they keep changing. It's like if you are the CEO of LinkedIn, I always use this analogy when I teach in class. Like, if you guys remember this is it Nokia phone that we used to have in those days, where you could play a game like Bounce, or you could play a game like which other one? There was one called Snake, right? And then when we started off playing, nobody knew the code, but later on we figured the code, and the game just got boring because once you press 1111 or something like that, then you have the game figured out. That's the same way the algorithm is. The creators don't want you to know what the algorithm is. But that being said, there are things that boost your visibility on LinkedIn. The algorithm, right, is wired in such a way. Let me just talk about two things: posting and commenting, right? The more you post, the more you get visible. That being said, I should qualify that by saying that there's a way you can balkanize your post if you post too frequently. So, most top creators will advise you to post just between 2 to 3 times in a week. But for people that they are more, they have the oomph. Definitely, you can post 5 days in a week, 7 days in a week. I mean, I posted 61 days, so I should be able to tell you what happened to me in the process. So definitely, these are things you can do. But if you can, as much as possible, avoid posting twice in a day. Once in a day is enough to garner engagement. And then about commenting, let me tell you, posting plus commenting on LinkedIn, those are the power twins. If you are not posting at all, if all you're doing is commenting, you are good, right? Because commenting is for visibility. Commenting is another thought leadership tool. It's a secret tool, a secret weapon. But if you use it appropriately, the people that have commented, I've personally left a comment on a post and gotten 15,000 impressions. Meanwhile, for average posts that even do well, you might not get more than 5,000 impressions or even 3,000 on some days or even less than that. So just imagine getting 15,000. Imagine the number of people that have seen your comment, seen your headline, because those are the things that are visible when you leave a comment. Your headline, your profile photo, those things are visible. So just imagine these are things that you should know about the algorithm. And definitely people that are using AI, are getting lesser viewership. If you're the type to start from the scratch with ChatGPT, you want to write a post and it's ChatGPT that's writing it for you, you definitely notice less engagement on your post in 2026, right? Because it's like AI against AI. The algorithm, is a I don't know. I don't really like to get into those stuff, but I teach about this in my class. Sha. I think you people should sign up for my masterclass. Chuka, sign up for my masterclass so I can tell you more about the LinkedIn algorithm. But I think these two. I mean, if these are the things you take away from this session, posting and commenting, they are the power twins. Gold mine for visibility on LinkedIn.
Thank you so much, Taiwo. Thank you very much for sharing those valuable comments. You spoke about commenting, you spoke about posting and the schedules for which you post. And I know someone said something that only the visible gets called. So you want to position yourself to be visible on LinkedIn. Thank you so much to everyone that has connected from colleagues, our friends from diaspora, thank you for being here. Thank you so much, guys, for staying till this time. I hope you got value. I hope you got a lot, right? I would encourage you to jump on the visibility coaching masterclass that Taiwo is holding next week. And we hope to bring various other speakers, monthly from now to the next couple of months. So we would want to encourage you to look out for the other series that will be coming up in the session. And I hope you guys agree with me that we're going to bring Taiwo back maybe at the middle of the year or sometime before the year runs out. But thank you very much, Taiwo, for showing up. Really, really grateful for agreeing to do this with me today. And so this is us signing out. Taiwo, any last words? I see that we're supposed to be wrapping up like now. Any last words for everyone on the call, just in 1 minute? Thank you.
Yeah, it's a new year. One of the most important decisions you can make for yourself this year is the choice to be visible. Trust me, it changes everything. It changes everything. It really does. Chika, these are my closing words. I genuinely wish you guys the best in 2026. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you very much. Very much. So, thank you very much, guys. Please give a virtual round of applause to Taiwo in the comments section. Thank you so much, Taiwo. Really grateful. Thank you, guys. So let's look forward to the next Chuka Talk series happening in February, mid-February. So the dates will be out and the events will be scheduled ahead of time. Thank you so much, guys. God bless you.